Narcissists, they're skilled at manipulating others to meet their own needs. They play with the empaths or the victim's emotions. They guilt trip them, and they create a sense of dependency, making the empath feel responsible for their own well-being. And this constant emotional manipulation, it can be exhausting for the empath. The second one is, you know this one, energy vampires. Narcissists, they often exhibit narcissistic traits such as entitlement and the need to dominate. So they drain the empath's energy by constantly seeking attention, validation, and admiration. They're always looking for supply. And so the empath finds themselves being emotionally drained as they try to meet the narcissist's insatiable needs. Many of us codependents are empaths. In psychology, empaths are people who have a higher than usual level of empathy, and it sounds caring and loving, but the issue here is that when there isn't any balance, empathy can start to cause more harm than good. We all know that most people can sense an angry person in a room, but when it comes to the empath, they really feel it when the narcissist walks into the house or into the room that they're giving the cold shoulder. And that kind of treatment is a gut-wrenching experience. It's a gut-wrenching feeling, and we feel it to our core. Whatever you were doing prior comes to a full stop because all concentration on whatever it was that you were doing is gone. Or all enjoyment that you were experiencing quickly dissipates, or any peace that you were feeling turns to stress. Now, if that isn't being controlled, I don't know what is. People with healthy boundaries also sense an angry person, but the difference is that they won't take it personally where the empath will. You can cut the air with a sword, and not only that, it ruins your mood. It ruins your day. We often say that we're walking on eggshells, and the reason that you're walking on eggshells is because you're afraid to ask them what's wrong. You're afraid of their response, because to their response, you also will have a response, which can be in the form of feeling, and not good feelings at that. Empaths are extremely sensitive to their environment, so when someone is angry like that, we not only observe, but we absorb. We wear it. We take it in as if it were our own. And so what kind of impact do you think that that does to our well-being? And then as codependents, we feel responsible for the mood of another. So to boot, we not only walk around feeling heavy and down, but the survival instincts kick in, and now we try to find ways to get the narcissist to change their mood by doing nice things for them as if they deserve it. Or we get out of our own comfort zones, our homes, whatever it was that we were doing, and end up having to leave the house. But regardless of the reactions that we have, we are feeling the emotions of fear, of stress, of disgust, of discouragement, among other emotions. And we feel those emotions big. So let's take a look at the definition and the importance of empathy on a positive note. And I'll try to be quick about it so we can get to the good stuff. Then we'll take a look at the negative aspect of when it's out of control, when it's harming you. Empathy is extremely important because it allows us to understand and relate to the emotions, experiences, and perspective of others. And so here are some reasons why empathy is important. Number one, building strong relationships. Empathy helps in developing and maintaining healthy relationships with others. When we show empathy towards others, they feel understood and supported, and they feel valued, which in turn leads to stronger connections and trust. The second one is effective communication. Empathy enhances our ability to listen and respond effectively to others. So by tuning into their emotions and their perspectives, we can better understand their needs and their concerns, allowing for clearer and more impactful communication. Number three, conflict resolution. Empathy plays a crucial role in resolving conflicts and then diffusing tense situations. When we empathize with others, we can see the situation from their viewpoint, which can lead to a more peaceful problem solving. Number 4, emotional well-being. Empathy promotes emotional well-being both for ourselves and others. When we feel heard and understood, it can help alleviate stress and negative emotions. Also, when we extend empathy to others, it can also provide comfort and support during difficult times. Number 5, bridging differences. Empathy helps to bridge gaps between people of different backgrounds, cultures, and beliefs. So by understanding and appreciating the experiences and the perspectives of others, we can foster exclusivity, acceptance, and a sense of unity. Number 6, leadership and teamwork. Empathy is a valuable trait for leaders and team members. Leaders who display empathy can inspire and motivate their teams, encourage collaboration, and create a positive work culture. And then team members who are empathetic can build stronger relationships with colleagues, leading to higher levels of teamwork and overall productivity. Personal growth. Practicing empathy can contribute to our own personal growth and development. So by putting ourselves in other people's shoes, we broaden our perspectives, enhance our emotional intelligence, and become more compassionate individuals. Overall, empathy is a fundamental aspect of human interaction that helps us understand, connect, and support each other. It fosters kindness, compassion, and a sense of community, making it a crucial quality to cultivate in our personal and professional lives. And now, here is the double-edged sword, the dark side of emotional contagion, which means the tendency to feel others' emotions. So one aspect of the dark side of emotional contagion is empathy fatigue and compassion burnout. When individuals constantly absorb and internalize the emotions of others, it can take a toll on their own mental and emotional health. Constant exposure to negative emotions can lead to empathy fatigue, which is a state of emotional exhaustion and decreased ability to empathize. And over time, this can evolve into compassion burnout, where individuals become emotionally overwhelmed and can even experience symptoms of depression, anxiety, and burnout. Maintaining healthy emotional boundaries is crucial when dealing with emotional contagion. And with a narcissist, it is extremely hard to maintain healthy boundaries, but I'll have some advice for you throughout this video, so keep watching. I even put some pretty pictures so you don't get bored here. While empathy is essential for building connections and understanding, it's important to recognize where our emotional responsibilities lie. Without setting emotional boundaries, individuals can become overwhelmed by others' emotions and they lose their sense of self, and it becomes challenging to distinguish between their own emotions and those that they've absorbed from others, leading to confusion and erosion of emotional well-being. So, what can we do? Well, first, you want to identify your emotions. That is so important. Take the time to reflect on your emotions and your needs. How do you feel? Tune into how certain situations or interactions make you feel and what it is that you need to feel emotionally fulfilled. This is the first part of the advice I'm offering. You need to learn emotional literacy. It's everything. Knowing how we feel is everything. When we stop and give ourselves the space to not only know how we feel, but acknowledge how we feel, we turn the empathy to us, which is something that we've stopped doing since childhood. Empathy and understanding how everyone else felt was what we did, nothing for us. Giving yourself the space to identify how you feel is called processing. When we process, we organize in our minds right from wrong. And that's where boundaries become the only logical thing at that point. It becomes natural and automatic to set boundaries. When an empath interacts with a narcissist, their empathetic nature, it makes them vulnerable to being drained of their energy. So here are some ways that this can happen. Emotional manipulation. Narcissists, they're skilled at manipulating others to meet their own needs. They play with the empaths or the victim's emotions. They guilt trip them, and they create a sense of dependency, making the empath feel responsible for their own well-being. And this constant emotional manipulation, it can be exhausting for the empath. The second one is, you know this one, energy vampires. Narcissists, they often exhibit narcissistic traits such as entitlement and the need to dominate. So they drain the empath's energy by constantly seeking attention, validation, and admiration. They're always looking for supply. And so the empath finds themselves being emotionally drained as they try to meet the narcissist's insatiable needs. The third one is lack of reciprocity. Empaths are naturally giving individuals who enjoy helping others. However, narcissists, they tend to be self-absorbed, in case you didn't know that, and they rarely reciprocate the empath's care and support. And this lack of reciprocity can leave the empath feeling unappreciated, unfulfilled, and emotionally drained. Number 4, empathetic absorption. Empaths have a tendency to absorb the emotions and energy of those around them. And we just talked about this. When in the presence of a narcissist who often radiates negative energy, the empath can unknowingly absorb and internalize these negative emotions. And this absorption can lead to the empath feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and drained. Number 5, and I bet you can relate to this one, continuous drama and conflict. Narcissists, they thrive on drama and conflict. They enjoy creating intense situations, manipulating others, and engaging in power struggles. And this constant state of chaos can be emotionally exhausting for the empath who prefers harmony and peace. The empaths often find themselves caught up in the narcissist's drama, resulting in emotional exhaustion. For example, the circular conversations that they drag us in. How many of us can relate to this one? Type yes in the comments below. Let's see how many of us are going through this or have gone through this. Then we have codependency. Narcissists, they often seek out empaths as they provide a source of validation and attention. Empaths, in turn, often feel a strong need to help and fix the narcissist, and this dynamic, it can lead to a codependent relationships where the empath continuously sacrifices their own needs and boundaries to support the narcissist. And this lack of self-care and constant focus on the narcissist's needs can and does drain the empath of their energy. It is important for empaths to establish boundaries. It's really important. And to practice self-care and be aware of their own needs in relationships with narcissists. Seeking support from friends, setting limits, and cultivating self-compassion can help empaths protect themselves from being drained by these characters. Now, healing from being an empath, it can be a gradual process that involves acknowledging your emotions, just like I mentioned, setting boundaries, and practicing the self-care. I'll keep talking about this. So here are some steps to help begin the healing. The first one is self-awareness. Recognize and acknowledge that you are indeed an empath. Understand what it means to be an empath and how it can really affect you, how it affects your thoughts, your emotions, and your well-being. Set boundaries. I know it's not easy, but start learning to differentiate between your emotions and those of others. Practice saying no when you feel overwhelmed or need personal space. Establish clear boundaries in your relationships and communication with others. The third one is self-care. Prioritize self-care practices that help you recharge and maintain your emotional well-being. They're draining you all the time, these narcissists, so you have to re-energize, replenish. And this can include activities such as meditation and grounding exercises, journaling, spending time in nature, taking a bath, or engaging in hobbies that bring you joy, and even visiting with friends. Number 4, I just mentioned it, the grounding techniques. Grounding can help you connect to the present moment and stabilize your energy. Some grounding techniques include deep breathing, exercises, visualization, physical touch, or focusing on your senses. For example, feeling the ground beneath your feet, feeling your body, feeling your heart, or listening to calm sounds of the ocean. Number 5, energy protection. Develop techniques to protect your energy from absorbing emotions from others. And this can involve visualizing a protective shield around you, using crystals or essential oils for energy protection, or regularly cleansing your energy through practices like smudging or taking salt baths. 6, practice self-compassion. Being an empath can be overwhelming. So be gentle with yourself and practice self-compassion. Allow yourself to feel your emotions and validate them without judgment. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding. And lastly, do not personalize. Big one. Often people tend to interpret the words and the behavior of others as a reflection of their own worth or character, leading to feelings of frustration, anger, or self-doubt. However, embracing the idea that people's actions are more of a reflection of their own beliefs, thoughts, and emotions helps to depersonalize any negative interaction. So by not taking anything personally, we can develop a stronger sense of self and self-confidence, and recognizing that other people's judgments and criticisms are more of a reflection of their insecurities or biases rather than a true reflection of your capabilities or worth. It allows us to maintain a positive self-image. By detaching our sense of self-worth from external validation, we become less vulnerable to the opinions of others. So remind yourself of your own self-worth. Not taking anything personally is a mindset that empowers us to detach from the opinions and the actions of others. By recognizing that the narcissist's behavior is a mere reflection of who they are, we can maintain a stronger sense of self. Remember, healing is a personal journey and it may take time, so be patient with yourself. Practice self-care regularly, and remember also that you are not alone in this. And on that note, remember, being an empath is a good quality to have, but it has to be balanced. You can have empathy for others, but you have to have the same amount for yourself. That is all for today, and hopefully we shall see you in the next video. Take care and bye for now.